Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening, replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 402. Bear market buckle up. Definitely wanted to do this episode today. Once again, this is episode 402. Bear market buckle up. So really, really excited about doing this episode today. Definitely wanted to talk about so many different things. As you all can see in the video caption there, we have the upcoming conference. Upcoming conference is definitely going to be uh, a very exciting one. We have so many people that are already engaged and pretty much there, so we're really excited about that. Having people there already and the speakers that are going to be speaking in particular, Cornell and Victor. Definitely excited about them, lending their time, lending their hand to the project. Definitely excited about the Asset Protection Conference coming up on August the 6th. It's in Orlando. You can feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Looking forward to all the individuals coming to that workshop. We've had pretty much wall to wall workshops, standing room only workshops for years now. They've always been that, you know, especially at the price point and where we are with it. By opening up the doors to trustees and non-trustees, and you'll see that as we continue to go, giving more updates as we get closer and closer to the event. We do have VIP tickets; those are going to be limited. So many people are definitely gonna, as long as they don't wait till the last minute, they should be fine. We're excited about individuals and families connecting, and obviously Orlando is a great location to be, so we look forward to connecting with the families in Orlando that are going to be present. It's going to be a great one. Looking forward to it. This episode in particular, bear market buckle up. It's been something that when you're sitting here and you're talking to people and you're hearing the market sentiment, whether it's some recession, maybe we need to put recession in the title. So we'll go ahead and put recession in the title, so we can see, the so-called, reception. So recession, we're gonna go ahead and say it. You know, you got to think about the market that we're in right now. If the recession is, going to be 2 quarters of GDP falling or things of that nature, ladies and gentlemen, we're already halfway through the 2 quarters. We're into the third quarter right now. We're looking for those Q2 results. We've seen pretty much Q2 results. We've heard earnings. And where do we see the market at right now? Well, we see the market where it's been for a while. It's been ranging. It's lower than its previous high, and it's been ranging. So when we talk about the market, quote unquote, the stock market, it's been ranging. It's been ranging for weeks now, and actually months. It's literally been taking up a lot of retail investors' money. We look forward to bringing out some more content about the trading and Cornell and what he's going to be bringing to the workshop and that sort, because it is going to be good for him to speak on things at the workshop. It's going to be important for him to speak on you know how people would they say, oh, are you living it? Of course. So then they have to deal with the investors that have been living it since you know them, senior quote unquote seniors. Seniors, when you have the game in your hands. It's not that you've mastered it, but you've mastered it to a degree where you have conscious competence. You're competent at what you're doing. Now it gets to a point where it's unconscious competence. And you can do it in your sleep. It's like you waking up, it's you putting in the work and getting the job done. The recession bear market buckle up is really to cater to this mindset that is happy go lucky. We're in the market right now where, sure, there may be a quote unquote recession, quote unquote, it may be a quote unquote temporary slowdown. Okay, if it was called for 2 months ago, if it was called for 4 months ago, what little bit of pain is going to be felt, will be felt very quickly. And so, so many people say, "Oh, it's going to be a long time." It's like, no, the pain has to cleanse, quote unquote, these quote unquote bad investments, quote unquote. This isn't financial advice or legal advice, but it's to cleanse these bad, overvaluated companies and things of that nature. So, recession, bear market, buckle up. Well, what are you doing in this situation? These are the things that we talk to, quote unquote, other investors about, other so-called people that are in the market. We see posts online where crypto investors are saying, yeah, people think that crypto investors are stupid, and that's why I don't hang out with people that are broke-minded, that think that just because something's going down doesn't mean that it's a good investment. I'm like, okay, well, when you see that thought process where someone says that, people think that, this asset class isn't viable right now, that's what they're saying. They're not saying the asset class has no validity. Oh, crypto obviously doesn't have billions of so-called dollars in it. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, as contrarians of the so-called asset class and asking questions about the asset class, particularly when it comes to the crypto, we're not saying that it's a bear market for that. We can see what's going on in the market. See, this is the issue with having conversations with people that are quote unquote say that they're investors, but they're invested in one asset class. One asset class meaning that they're invested in what's that one asset class? The one just in crypto. This is where they're pigeonholed at. And some of them say, "Oh, well, we diversify. We're in real estate, or we diversify. We doing a couple other things." That's not what we hear completely. We do hear some sentiment of diversification with the crypto investors, but a lot of them are just pure crypto investors, and we're not stating that as a bad thing. We're just having a dynamic conversation of, okay, if you're going to have, one asset class as your complete holding, then you're not looking at the complete market, quote unquote. There's a market that they're looking at. That's the market they're looking at. But when we talk about the whole market, if you're looking at the market from a holistic point of view, whether it's, some companies losing 50% of their value right now. Well, did the crypto lose 50% of its value? We don't want to speak on it, but you all know what it did. You can do your research and see what it did. You can see what it's doing. And these are the type of thought process that we have going into these type of conferences where we say, okay, August is a critical month for people to say, okay, we need to gut check ourselves and where are we right now in the eighth month of the year, ninth month of the year when we get to that point, because there's going to be so much that whether it's buying opportunities, honestly, there's going to be so many opportunities, not just buying, but even selling opportunities. There's selling opportunities going on right now. But more buying opportunities, but even selling opportunities right now. There are selling opportunities going on right now. If you're counting and saying it's a recession, what makes you think the next period of time is going to be short? If you're saying, well, we've already called for the recession for the past 2 to 3 months, 4 months. Well, if you called for it, if the market is feeling the fear of the sentiment of the sentiment of fear, it's going to carry that out for a period of time. It's not a quick recovery, but it is a recovery nonetheless. Somebody say, well, how long could it be? Even if we said one more additional quarter, that means that everything up until about the ninth month is a botch. Oh man, where are the earnings going to come through? Are they going to come through in the third quarter? Because as it stands right now, they didn't come through in the first. They didn't come through in the second. Sure, there were some earnings that came through for. They try to say, oh well, the energy sector. The energy sector has its play right now. The energy sector has its play right now. The energy sector has its play. You keep hearing this. Well, the energy. Think about it. Are they going into a warm summer and aren't they dealing with climate change? And think about it. They don't. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so many market conditions right now for slowdown. Maybe not recession, but slowdown. You hear the slowdown happening in the UK. The United States has already called for it. That's why they're raising the rates. So they can get back to where it could be balanced, where the money is going to get you a good per value. Well, where are we right now? We're in a market where retail's getting gobbled up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, retail's not getting gobbled up? What do you mean retail's not getting gobbled up? Ladies and gentlemen, the market, the stock market, it has not moved. Sure, it's went up, sure, it's went down. But in the past 3 to 6 months, the market's pretty much been flat. And because the market's been flat, because we see that the market's been flat, we have to play the market accordingly. How do we play the market accordingly? Well, we know that, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not going up, that means somebody's losing money. Some people are still making money. When we say who, there are companies right now that the energy sector is making money. The ones that don't have to deal with the chips as much. But then, oh, everybody says go solar, go solar. So solar has to deal with chips. Wind energy have to deal with chips. There's a chip shortage right now in the world. There's been a chip shortage in the world for almost a year. Did you know that? Everything that you see is an electronic piece of equipment right now. There is a chip shortage. It's not Trust Christian and Vault reporting this. This is coming from every major news publication. That's why they were able to call for a recession 3 or 4 months ago. Because they were like, oh, wow, right now, from the way things are looking, there's been a chip shortage in the marketplace for 4 months. And the chip shortage just kept going on. There's been, what is that? There's been supply chain constraints where ships haven't moved. Right now, even in China as we speak on this episode 402, there was lockdowns recently in China, which slowed down chip manufacturing in China, which is literally at least 30% of the chip percentage, and that's one country. 30% of the chip makers in the world. At least it could be double. We're going to speak conservatively and say, do your research on that, do your follow up on that, do your own research on that. How much percentage does China, you know, actually control in the marketplace when it comes to controlling chips, producing chips? And their market was shut down. One of their major production hubs was shut down. One of their major ports was shut down, which was Shanghai recently. And so, where do you go from there when the major port is shut down? Where do you go? You got to go to the States. The States is doing its best to get things together. They were looking to pass some type of semiconductor act. Oh, you're getting government involved in the recession of the bear market buckle up. Of course. Didn't they just do that recently when they bailed out the people? See how this goes? The gov is going to get their hands involved. But who's really got their hands involved right now in the marketplace? That's what do we say? Are they escalating pressures of a recession, or is there excitement to see some type of we're going to recover as they were recovering previous to past 21 and past 2020? So do we see growth in the near term from the way things are looking, ladies and gentlemen? The fear in the marketplace, and you can type this in the chat if you're listening live or listening to replay. We'll see it. What do you see? Do you see, oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, from the way things are look, the market's going to get better? Or do you see that the market may possibly get worse for the next few months? One, two, three. Then that's 3 quarters in a row. What if it skips a quarter and says, okay, Q2, they scurried out some GDP and it was plus growth? Well, let's look at it from the opposite end. Okay, it does do that. And then it skips over and then we go into the next quarter. And third quarter is dismal. Flat and negative earnings. So they skipped it. Did they dodge a bullet? Yeah, they dodged a bullet. Why? Because we can't really call it a recession because it wasn't 2 quarters in a row. That's fair. But there were still 2 quarters in a year that possibly GDP went down, which means production went down, which means output went down. Where's the output coming from in the economy right now? Sports, entertainment, the recession bear market buckle up. Well, how is it the tech companies are losing all their value or losing a lot of value? A lot of these major tech companies. Maybe because they were living off their lack of fundamentals and valuation in the beginning. They were living off of it. Of course they were. And now where are we? We're months into, well, semiconductor companies, they don't the semiconductor companies don't have any they don't have any parts. We can't get any parts right now. You can literally Google that right now on June 12th, 2022. You can Google, do semiconductor companies right now have parts to make the parts? They don't have the parts to make the whole chip to send out to people. China was just shut down. One of their major ports was shut down. As you can see, if China literally just went through a cold in the past 6 months because they wanted to shut their market down for a few months, and put it in a lockdown. Well, if they just stop that, and they're one of the largest producers and producers of world manufacturing products, literally, you can see how the rest of the world is going to, somewhere down the line, trickle down economics affect. They're going to, that's literally how it's got about to be. They're about to be in the marketplace. It's about to slow down in the States, which it did. It's slowing down now. It's slowing down literally in, what is that? The UK. It slowed down. Okay. We don't really need to care about too many other markets because the eurozone is in shambles right now. They're literally dealing with the war. The whole continent is dealing with the war. So when you say, "Oh, well, the eurozone's not going to be in a recession right now," how is the eurozone not going to be in a recession literally in a month or two or the next quarter or so, when literally the major wheat producer for the eurozone they're at war with, or they've embargoed? They're putting tariffs on this country. They're putting sanctions on this country. So they put sanctions on the country, and so they're missing out on oil. That's why you see United States oil is up. United States oil is up. It's dang near it's at a 2008 level. We saw this earlier today. The oil is at 2008 levels. So if you don't say we might need to see a reset, what are you thinking here? So let's talk about it. Oh man, it's not. No, we don't need to call for it in the states. What about the eurozone? If the oil's at the high that it was in 2008 in the United States, what do you think it is in the UK or in the eurozone when their major oil producer is at war? Do you see how that works? Oh man, I don't want to think the gloom and doom story. Trust Christian and Vault. We were supposed to think positive. We're supposed to think optimistic. Well, let's just count to the downside. Let's count to the downside that the UK, whatever they're making for the world, whatever the Eurozone's making for the world, we see what the country that's going to war made for the world. They made wheat, definitely a large wheat producer, and definitely a large oil producer. And what happened? These people now in the Eurozone, they're slowing down. They had they, they haven't started reporting out of Europe yet how bad it is. Why? Because the states didn't report it. So we're going to see what the states reports. But we're going to see what the states report because it's a very critical time when you say, "Oh, do we have to use that word?" That word is doom and gloom. Well, we heard it 2 or 3 months ago where people were calling it. The public was calling for it, not the market. The market 2 months ago wasn't at its low for employment. Now it's literally right there again. So if the people aren't working, that means people need to get back to working. So that means we're going to see the results come in for the past 2 quarters and the past few months where people weren't working. What happened? Did they quit? Did they get fired? Do they feel like they're entitled in the States? You don't have these type of things if things are going well, clearly. So where are we at right now? Are we at that point? We don't need to call it the recession, but we can call it the bear market. And it's you better buckle up. Why? What does buckle up mean? It means, do you have savings? Do you have investments? Do you have businesses that you can control the cost of living increase with? Businesses, not one business, multiple businesses. We see where the marketplace is. Oh man, you know, Trust Christian and Vault. Well, look, we trying to make some money in this bear market because that's where we're in. We're gonna. It's been going down. It's been in the downtrend pretty much since last November. And then if it rallied in January, February, it's been in a downtrend since. January, February. So we're just talking about the near term, what has happened recently, and where we're going. Where are we going? Where are we headed? Are we going to continue seeing this? Listen, this is literally what's being said in the marketplace right now. Whether you hear it on the news, June 12th, the whole rest of the week, the rest of this year, 2022, it says recession, bear market, buckle up. They're saying buy the dip. Okay, when does the dip stop? When does the dip stop? Where does the dip stop? People are more interested in picking bottoms and maybe not making money. When is it going to stop? We don't know, ladies and gentlemen. That is a little conundrum in the workplace or the marketplace. But we do know one thing. See, the recession isn't based off future results. It's based off the past. So the recession is based off of two negative quarters in GDP. That's what it is. It's not anything more than that. Real GDP at that. So when we talk about a recession, do we have to use this word like it's not anything? Do we have to use this word like it's everything? Do we not have to use this word at all? Is that where we are nowadays? Let's just not have to use it at all. Trust Christian in the vault. We don't need to worry about that. You want to use the word recession, trust Christian vault. That word's scary. It brings a lot of fear in the marketplace. A lot of people want to know, don't want to know that that's going to come true because that means things might not be too good. So let's go to the bear market. Well, if we're talking about a bear market, let's see what bears do. That means it's a downtrend. Either way, it's a downtrend. No, Trust Christian Vault, it's going to turn around. I can see it bottoming out. It's the United States market. Something's got to go right at one point. Oh, really? You sure about that? What happens when it slowly goes down and it's just ranging every day and then going down a few times a week or one a few times a month? Don't say it like that, Trust Christian Vault. I haven't seen the 80s. Trust Christian Vault, I haven't seen the late 2000, the early 2000s, right before the 2000s. Right. Those weren't easy days for investors. The recession bear market buckle up is here to share with you all that there is a market that has liquidity in it right now. And there are many markets that have closed off liquidity, but they're still around. When you talk about luxury goods, we've seen some good earnings for luxury goods. We've seen quite a bit of good sentiment in the energy sector. We've seen, great sentiment in a few different areas. So when we talk about not just energy, what else have we seen? Metals, anything that has to deal with building any type of space defense right now. Space defense has been great buys. But this isn't financial advice or legal advice. So when we talk about even recession, most people don't know how to sell and make money. They only know how to buy and make money, and that's not funny, but that's the truth. So when we talk about it, it's definitely important to have that on notice, put people on notice. It's not about just buying. It's actually selling as well. So definitely wanted to talk about these things today with the recession bear market buckle up. This is definitely an episode where just wanted to really go over that today. That when you talk about your bear market, ladies and gentlemen, or your recession, it's just a few quarter decline in GDP, but where are you? What are you going to profit off of? How are you going to profit? Are you profiting out the market? Are you profiting out of how are you profiting out of the market, ladies and gentlemen? That's what it comes down to. How are you profiting in the market? People say, "Oh well, it's the recession." Well, you can still profit in a recession. Some people making money in a recession. Is the landlord that people live in property? Are they making money in a recession? Yes, they are. See how easy that is. So look forward to connecting everybody at the workshop August 6th. It's definitely going to be a great one. We're going to update the flyer, make sure we show the actual cost for what is that for trustees, because we definitely have different uh, price for the trustees, and we'll take care of that. We'll get that flyer up for you all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Once again, appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian, trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Peace.